hop is what we do, man. It's the new movement.
Welcome to This House is Not For Sale, your podcast of conversations around African hip hop. I am your host, Salam J. We started this podcast somewhere 2020, just about the third episode. COVID hit, and we're caught up in the whole COVID situation. We didn't know what to do. We saw our colleagues jumping online, but conditions didn't favor us. But now we are back. We are back with a different vibe, different energy, and we're glad we had that break to rethink and restructure everything. I used to host this with Moshood, but Moshood will not be with us anymore. But he's still with us. Due to certain engagements, he can't host the show anymore. But he's behind the scenes as a producer, so we are excited. We know he still has an input in this amazing podcast. But fortunately, I have a friend, a very good friend of mine. We always go back and forth with hip hop conversations, arguments here and there, sharing thoughts here and there. So it's nothing strange that she is my new co-host. I think we're just being our regular selves on here. So I'd like to introduce our new co-host, Hevzi.
Hey, hello. This is where you add the applause right here.
Yeah, let me do that for you right now.
You don't have to do it live.
So, how have you been?
I've been good. I went to church today, and then I took a little walk, just enjoying the sun, which is not it's not regular for the UK, so I thought I'd enjoy that. And then I had some lunch, and then here we are recording the podcast.
Great. Sounds like an amazing day for you.
So far, so good.
Nice,
How's yours
nice.
been? How's yours been?
Yeah, I also had some amazing lunch with the family. So, yeah, it's like a good start,
Good.
And I was a little bit stressed about recording this podcast because I left my stuff somewhere and I'm here. So, but yeah, I'm glad we're finally recording, so
we almost couldn't record. We
almost couldn't
but we're here.
record. Yeah. So I'm excited to have you. I'm excited that we don't have to have these conversations behind the scenes anymore.
Yeah.
I'm excited that I'm sharing these conversations with you and the world. Yeah. So this is going to be our new format. Now, we used to just interview guests, but now we're just going to have conversations between us, me as the host and Hefziba as the co-host. And once in a while, we are going to invite guests onto the show. We are going to invite guests from all disciplines of the hip hop culture. So be it DJing, b-boying, rap music, dance, we are going
Graffiti.
We are going to look at everything that's happening around hip hop or things that have been influenced by hip hop, and have conversations around them. So Hefziba,
Hey.
so I'd like to know, Hefzi is
Salam is gonna keep calling me Hefziba and Hefsi because he calls me Hefziba normally, but I've decided to make it Hefsi for the podcast.
Hefzi.
So
yes, Hefzi. So
Hefzi,
when I call it Hefziba, you should know that it's just me, no hair from the other side.
Exactly.
So Hefzi, how did you fall in love with hip hop? I don't think we've ever had this conversation before.
No, I don't even think I've had this conversation with myself. I mean, that question is an interesting question, mostly because, I love Common and he has a whole song talking about falling in love with hip hop. I don't know how I fell in love with hip hop. I just know that I have always loved music. and my interest in the particular genre, I don't know. Like, so when I was younger, I guess I should say my dad is a pastor. Both my parents are pastors, actually. But when I was growing up, it was my dad who was a pastor first. So we didn't really used to listen to hip hop music. We listened to gospel, strictly gospel at home. And then as I went to school, I became really interested in dancing and choreography and those kind of things. So I used to do like choreography with one of my best friends around the neighborhood. We went to the same school. And her mom used to be, I think, the marketing manager for UB. Do you remember that hair product, UB in Ghana?
Yeah, UB, yeah, UB product.
UB, yes.
Yep.
So she used to be the marketing manager for UB, and she had seen me and her daughter around the house learning to dance and stuff. And she was like, I'm putting on this showcase for UB. No, UB was sponsoring a show. And do you remember the Ghanaian artist Tic Tac?
No.
Do you remember Tic Tac? No?
Oh, Tic Tac. No, yeah.
Tic Tac,
yeah. Yeah, of course.
So
of course. I didn't hear you right.
They were sponsoring one of his shows. Yeah, they were sponsoring one of his shows. And she was like, he's putting on a performance and I'd like you to be one of the background dancers for it. I didn't tell my parents that this is what I was doing. I went and, danced back up. We had to rehearse for one of his songs, and then I did the backup. And then for some reason, since that time, that style of music, because it wasn't a style of music I had been around for a really long time, just began to like seep in my head, and I grew interested in like a bit of rap, a bit of hip life.
Wait, do we have this video online?
Oh no. I hope there is no video. I have never tried to look. I don't think back then there was like videos of performances like that. I mean, if you could find it, that would be hilarious. It was like skinny tall me, like in the back of Tic Tac dancing. I can't even remember the song it was. And then I don't know, I just developed this kind of love for like hip life, rap. And then it became like book back with like Batman. I used to like Batman's like deep voice, like in the songs.
Right.
And then, so I was listening to that. Then I went to high school, and the guy I liked at the time knew Sean Paul's Get Busy off by heart. And it was the first time I'd heard somebody outside of an artist rap along to a full like rap song. So I saw him do that, and then I thought, what would really impress him if I could also rap to Get Busy. it was back when there was like no Google where you could go and Google lyrics. So I listened to Get Busy over and over again on my little was it a CD player or Walkman? I wrote the lyrics out.
Get Busy will definitely be the CD era.
We'll see CD era, right?
Yeah.
So my little gray Walkman, I listened to it over and over again, and I learned how to rap to it. And then one day at break time, I like rapped it to him. And ever since then, I've like started to like, I graduated to like Nicki Minaj. I remember when like Beam Me Up Scotty came out, like literally knew like every lyric to it. Was it itty bitty piggy, like itty bitty piggy at the market. That one. And Nicki Minaj became like an idol, and then after like years, I moved to the UK. I think Nicki Minaj was when I moved to the UK, and then I kind of upgraded my interest in hip hop from there. And my interest in hip hop like ranks from like J. Cole and Kendrick to like the Migos to Young Thug, mixed in with a little bit of R&B, and then. As I've started working on, Yo-Yo Tinz with you, I had an interest in Ghanaian hip hop, but as I've, been doing Yo-Yo Tinz with you guys for the past few years now, like my interest in African hip hop has just kind of blown up from there. So I'd say that's how I fell in love with hip hop. As usual, because of a boy. So yeah, that's me.
So it's good that you mentioned working with Yo-Yo thing. So Hefzi used to review music videos for the Yo-Yo Tinz blog, and she was doing an amazing job. Yeah, I know people would. I know people for a fact that people will hit you up, review my video. Yeah,
Yes.
So yeah, you are doing an amazing job. And
Yeah.
So this is where it gets interesting between the two of us, because I'm more of like the old school back. I have the old school background, and also I have the like underground scene, and also discovering new acts. So balancing that with your knowledge, like mainstream. I'm not too interested in what's mainstream now. I'm not really vibing, but yeah. But not to say I don't listen. I listen, but also I'm always looking for raw talent, and like what I mean is like people that are doing things that you can tell they are in their own lane. They're just different. I'm always looking for that extra thing, rather than people that are trying to make music based on trends. Not to say it's a bad thing, but I'm always interested in like something new, fresh. Yeah, but at the same time I vibe with what's trendy and whatnot.
Yeah.
So for me,
I would say, I think, you go.
So I was just gonna say, for me, I think the first time I fell in love with hip hop was way back Chris Cross. So
Oh wow!
yeah, Chris Cross. Because I think I was watching television, and then these two young guys came on TV. They were just rapping. I was like, and I was seeing myself, because I was like, but they're almost like my age, or just maybe
Your age.
a little older than me or something. Like I was like, but who are these small guys on TV? Look like superstars, and so that's when I started recognizing the sound. And I think in general, my household at the time just loved music. So. Yeah, I had all sort of music around me, and and I think I had an uncle who was in high school at the time, so I was hearing all sort of songs, and also he was teaching me how to record from radio, when know when to pause, when like the host is talking on radio, when to hit record,
Yeah,
so
that was a skill back then.
How to record on cassette. I was learning how to repair cassettes when they break. With there was this plant called Milk Bush. So that's how I fell in love with hip hop, and I've been following hip hop since. And now I have a very huge interest for African hip hop. I have lost track a bit on like the most popular one, American hip hop, but once in a while I try to know what's going on, but now I have a huge interest in African hip hop. So
Awesome,
my friend, what can we expect from you as our co-host?
well, what you can expect from me is I love to, is the word argue? I like to debate things and issues and topics. I always have an opinion about something. So I think what you can expect from me is probably like what Salam and I have been just talking about, is a difference of opinion, a difference of interests. So I'm more kind of new school. I have some old school interests, but I think old school compared to Criss Cross is not like as old school. I have some old school influences and people that I listen to, but not as old school, but also somebody who just has a bit of an opinion about everything. But I also can admit when I'm wrong about an opinion. So that should be fun. I also like to talk a lot, so expect a lot of talking shit.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm really excited to have you, and then I hope that we'll be able to get a lot of information and a lot of education from our conversations, and also from interviewing people, because like we said before starting to record the podcast, we feel like there's so many conversations that happen within the culture, especially the music that
100%.
there are a lot of conversations that have been tackled in the music that we can expand on this podcast. So that's
Yeah.
what this podcast is looking forward to do, to expand on conversations that are happening around the culture, and also to understand how some of these cultures are operating, because sometimes we don't necessarily understand why some of these things are important, or why people are involved in some of these cultures. So it's just to also educate ourselves, and also make people understand, and also show the world what's happening on the continent,
Exactly.
because most of the time it's too much focus. Even in our own spaces, we spend so much time trying to know about what's happening in American hip hop, more than what's happening in our hip hop circle. I think that there are so many platforms, or so many media that
Yeah.
talk about American hip hop, and it's
Yeah.
okay for us to go there to
Yeah.
check what's happening, but who is talking about us? And
Yes.
that's what this podcast stands to do. So, and it's also a form of archiving for us, and just reminding ourselves that we also have talents here who are doing some amazing
Yeah.
stuff, and
Yeah.
we love to talk about them.
Yeah. And, not that we're bashing American hip hop. I think, New York is the birthplace of hip hop. So it's no surprise
Right.
that people want to talk a lot about American hip hop. But I think, there are amazing artists in Ghana, Nigeria, the southern part of Africa, eastern parts of
Right.
Africa who are doing like
Right.
awesome, amazing work. People who are from, where Salam and I are from, which is Ghana, that are talking about issues that we want to expand on. So, Salam and I were talking earlier about some of the topics that, would like to discuss. There's some people who are making music around like mental health, or, around
Exactly.
healing energy, around, the LGBTQ movement in Ghana and in Africa as a whole. So we want to have all of those pertinent conversations and make sure that the work that those people are making are not like in a vacuum, that are being talked about by, people in the industry, but like open that up so that people can have further conversations about it, because it's important.
Yes, it is important to have these conversations. Sometimes we just listen to the music, and then it just ends there, by refusing to dissect the codes in there, and the references that are being made. And yes, this is what the podcast is going to do for you. So we hope that you back there at home will share with your friends. Let us grow big, so that the conversations can be bigger. So
And suggest songs to us, or artists to us who you may think that we need to like invite on the podcast or talk about their work. We're open to that. We have there's a lot of material to go through.
Yes, that would be good. So the comment section,
comment, Google. This is what all the YouTubers do.
Yes, down there. So I think one of the segments we spoke about that is going to be on this podcast is the Put Me On segment.
Me on. Yes.
So basically, I'm going to be putting heads on some music, some movies, some new things to discover, basically, and she's going to do the same. So we want you to do the same. Put us on to who you are listening to, what you think is interesting, in the world of hip hop, or I mean, just whatever you think is
It
interesting.
could be random.
Yeah.
Any random thing. I'm sure there's a link to hip hop somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. So just let us know, and we'll be glad to check it out, and then we can probably have a conversation about them on this podcast. Your favorite hip
Absolutely.
hop, African hip hop podcast. Your favorite
There you
African
go.
hip hop podcast. It should be your favorite.
Your favorite African hip hop.
Your favorite African hip hop podcast. It should be your favorite. Because we are Yo-Yo Things
Hey.
and we've been Yo-Yo Things. And if you know Yo-Yo Things, we are always 100% solid. Okay, so sis, thanks for having, or thanks for being a part of us. And
Always.
welcome you. And then we hope that we have a great start. I think we've already had a great start.
Yeah.
So this episode was just to introduce and announce our comeback. Introduce Hevzi and also announce our comeback. So this is all we have for you today. Check the next episode where we come back full force with conversations around the hip hop culture, African hip hop culture, brought to you by Yo-Yo Things. I am your host,
Hey.
Salam J, and with my co-host,
Hepsi.
Peace. See you in the next episode.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Subscribe.
Yes, subscribe.
Hip hop is what we do, man. This the new movement.